and I have designed this. Got onto a computer, used a bit of CAD software, designed the side plate, and that is going to go on just like this. And yeah, it's been 3D printed. It's actually in a sort of industrial plastic. Got some nice Boonana branding on here, which you can see if I tilt it just like that. Let's bring it up to the, yeah, there we go. That's looking a lot better, isn't it? So yeah, I just added some little details which thought might look a bit nice. Little recesses for the bolts, because what we're going to use is we're going to use these M5 mushroom bolts, which have got a hex head, so that's Allen keys. If I bring that over here, we can see mushroomy head. So these should fit nicely in here. Kept the tolerance on the plastic quite tight, but if we look at that, fits like a dream. It's almost like I know what I'm doing, eh? Yeah, so that's going to go on there. Should look quite nice once it's on. There is a reason why it's made out of white as well, but we'll find that out in a little bit later. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is we've got the brackets. I'm going to take these and go off and drill some holes in it. And as if by magic, we are back. So as you can see, we've got some holes drilled in this now. If you wanted to know the general process, so starting off with this device, it's a nice little handy tool which when you press it down on metal, it's got like a little spring and a hammer inside, and this pointed tip ends up punching a little dimple into the metal, and that allows your drill bit to find a little, instead of like chasing around on the metal, it allows it to find that little dimple, bite in, and allows you to drill more accurate holes. So what I usually like to do is come in with a smaller bit first. So we've got a 3mm high-speed steel titanium coated drill bit here, and yeah, go in with that first. That gives you 1mm of wiggle room if you're using a drill which isn't quite accurate. So maybe some of you would be doing something like this with a hand drill. Again, getting those steady sometimes isn't always easy. So even if you've got a pillar drill like I've got, some of those can be pretty bold. Really, when it comes to accuracy, you get a lot of play, and even drill bits can be a little bit skewiff or flimsy sometimes. So yeah, come in afterwards with a 4mm bit. Because these are M5, so metric 5mm wide, 5mm diameter bolts. You want to come in with a drill bit which is slightly smaller, because if you're going to cut some threads, which is what we're going to do with this tap and die set, the tap actually needs a little bit of metal to bite into in order to cut the threads into it, because we're going to use these like a nut for these screws. Now obviously if you're going to put a bolt on the other side, a nut on the other side, you would drill these out to 5mm, so the bolt could just slide straight through. But as you can see here, that's not going through there. I'll bring that over here so we can see a bit easier. So yeah, at the moment, 5mm hole, 4mm hole, 5mm bolt. Honestly, such a long day yesterday, and I don't know where my head's at. So yeah, let's connect this up. Let's cut these threads. Now, if you're doing this, you might want to use a little bit of grease or a little bit of oil in order to cut these. It's fairly thin metal, so I'm not really going to bother with that, because I don't think this will struggle at all. But if you do use a little bit of grease or a little bit of oil, that will actually make sure your tools last a little bit longer. Another reason for me doing that now is I don't really want greasy particles all over this recording area. So yeah, really you should have this in a vise. Find a nice steady position. So let's have a look. Right, so we're zoomed in there quite nicely, so you can see how you want to get things quite vertical, quite straight. Right, so that's it worked in a little bit further there. If I bring that up here, you can see as you turn it in, it's essentially screwing itself into the metal, but you see the little metal filings coming out as it's going through. It's just cutting away there, nibbling away at the metal, and just cutting those threads into the metal as it goes. There you go. Nice and simple. So I'm going to go ahead and do that another 3 times for the other holes. Really, actually, I will tell you, while you're doing this is pretty thin metal. It's just over 1mm, so you can get away with just twisting it straight in. But if this was a thicker piece of metal, what you would do is you'd give it, firstly you'd use lubricant like oil or cutting fluid or grease. You'd turn it once, like a sort of quarter or half turn, and you'd work it backwards and forwards a few times, and then you would turn it again. So just, well, I'll wind it out a little bit. Right, so turn it like that, and then you'd work it backwards and forwards, turn it again, half turn or a quarter turn, work it backwards and forwards. That's the second hole cut in there. That's looking good. I think I'll go ahead and I'll do the other two holes off of camera, because you've seen how that's done. But while the camera's rolling, let's have a look. How do these fit? Oh, silky smooth. How is that? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah, that's pretty good. You see how they're just going in like a glove. Right, I'm going to cut these